Honestly, I'm very excited and a little nervous, quite nervous. I'm just going to say a little because it sounds better. Hey, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Maureen Kunga. I'm a singer, songwriter, an advocate of the High Court of Kenya, and now apparently I'm a YouTube content creator, but we're going to get to that in a minute. First, I'm going to tell you the story of how I lost 16 kilograms by living a healthier life. So weight has always been a big issue for me. Say a big literally issue for me since I was a kid, really. I was always the person who was just a little bit bigger than their friends. I was always a person who was described as the big one. Like if you were trying to figure out which Maureen it was usually the big one is me. And it really did affect me from when I was really young, but I didn't quite pay too much attention to it until I was a lot older, and you're growing up and you're becoming a woman and you're trying to be comfortable in your own skin. But weight was always a thing that was really heavy on my heart, and it became an issue for me more so when I became a singer, and I'd talk so badly to myself. I talk myself down so often about how it's ridiculous that someone who looks like me could want to be on TV, want to entertain. It's ridiculous that someone who looks like me, who's as unhealthy as me, would want to perform for people. It was really something that took a big blow to my self-esteem, and and this was not something that other people were doing. I was doing it to myself, and I recognize that now. I was making myself feel so bad about being the size that I was, about looking how I looked. But in more of a practical sense, even doing shows was a little bit difficult for me because I'd get tired before I was really unhealthy. I'd get tired before I was supposed to. Styling was always an issue for me. I always felt like I looked different. I always felt like I wasn't, like it wasn't working out. But for some reason, by the grace of God, when Elani started and our music came out, it wasn't really, I was still labeled the big girl, the big one, Elani, but it wasn't something that was really necessarily being taken as such a negative thing. But what happened is, with time, my weight became my identity. And I pegged so much on the fact that I was overweight, I forgot that there was a uniqueness and a wholeness to me outside of being a girl who was plus size, a girl who was overweight. And that really also just continued to eat continuously at my self-esteem. And because of that, I started to do things that were really unhealthy for me. So I'd try any and everything just before a shoot, just before an interview, just before a public appearance. I'd try everything to sort of lose weight quickly because I was ashamed. So anything under the sun, I've probably tried it. All these juicing, diets, starvation, excessive exercise, and none of those things worked because I'd commit to those things for the 7-10 days that it takes for you to do those things. And then on day 11, what is it that you're doing? You go right back into these horrible, toxic activities and toxic things that make you that made me the way I was, that made me overweight. And it was this vicious cycle. And what happened over time, and this is over a period of a number of years, what happened is weight became this thing that I couldn't control. Weight became this thing that was such a big deal to me that I had no power over it. So I kept doing this over and over again and kept repeating the horrible cycle and kept falling prey to these horrible eating habits and these horrible yo-yo dieting type things until about 2016, when I just got tired. And I was like, why am I making myself suffer? Why is it that trying to be healthy is a punishment? It shouldn't be a punishment. There obviously must be a way that I can do this in a sustainable way, that I can make sure that I'm living life well and loving myself. And that was my goal when I started to eat healthy. So I started to look for different ways that I could improve my lifestyle. So eat more salads, the things that you hear all the time. Drink more water, eat more salads, take the stairs instead of the elevator. And I did those things. But over and above that, I realized that what I'm eating, what I'm putting in my body was really detrimental to me and my health. And that's when I started to look for alternative ways to live a healthier life. So as I actively began to pay attention to what it is that I was eating and what it is that was my daily activities were, I started to realize that not only am I feeling better about myself, not only am I feeling a little happier, but also subsequently I'm starting to lose weight. So I was chasing health, but the byproduct and the incidental of chasing that health was the fact that I started to lose weight. And I was like, oh, I cracked it. And I know I didn't crack anything. I'm sure very many people know this. Of course, you live healthy, you do better and you look better. Everybody knows that. But it's just the fact that for years and maybe over a decade, weight was such a big deal and something that was like this monster that I possibly couldn't slay. And the fact that I had actually started to lose weight and actually started to feel better and be more active and and performing becomes easier and everything else becomes easier, and I was like, I got it, I figured it out. As I started to get healthier and I started to lose weight, I realized that there were so many things that I'd been denying myself, so many experiences, so many activities that I'd been denying myself because of my low self-esteem, because I told myself that I can't do things. There were things I wasn't chasing after because I knew for some reason in the back of my mind I wasn't worthy of them. I wasn't ready for them. And even when you think about small things like bungee jumping or ziplining or GP karting or all these things that, honestly speaking, regardless of the size you are, of course there's places past which you obviously can't do these things, but regardless of the size you are or regardless of the weight that you are, you should be able to do these things. They have measures for people who are a little heavier, but it was a self-esteem issue, and I just kept putting myself down, and it's not possible for me to do these things because of how heavy I am. It's not possible for me to be liked as a musician because of how heavy I am. It's not possible for me to, and these are the things that I realized as I started to lose weight were actually ingrained in my mind, and I had to work on getting those out. Something like weight, one factor of who I was, had become my entire identity. So much so, and this is crazy, so much so that when I started to lose weight, I actually thought to myself, I can't do this because then who am I going to be? That's an actual question that I had. If I were to lose weight, if I were to no longer be the big one, if I were to no longer be the big girl in Elani, who am I going to be? This identity issue just became bigger for me when I'd get messages from girls who were also a little bigger, who were saying, you know what, because of you, I'm willing to go after this and this, because I see you singing and I see you thriving, and I think that it's wonderful, and because of you, you're such a role model, I'm going to do this and that. And I thought to myself, that's wonderful. That's wonderful that as a plus size girl, as a girl who is overweight somewhere out there, you're looking to me as inspiration. But in reality, I really feel like crap about myself. And I couldn't show that. I could, but I chose not to. I chose not to show that side because it wasn't on brand. You know what I mean? And honestly, it was really something that it started to affect every facet of my life, because I took that one thing, which was appearance, and made it me, right? Without understanding that it's just one thing about me and there's so much more to me. And I hadn't quite grasped that. So even when people were saying to me, wow, you're such a role model for plus size girls, and because of you, plus size girls everywhere are going to try to model, are going to try to do this and that, as happy as that part made me, I was still feeling horrible about myself. And also, at the end of the day, I didn't want to be the person who's propagating an unhealthy lifestyle, because I didn't want to be the person who's telling those girls who are overweight, who in an ideal situation should be healthier. I don't want to be the one who's the stamp for them that it's okay. I don't want to be the one who's I don't want to be the one who allows for a person to be unhealthy and be comfortable being unhealthy because Maureen Kunga is unhealthy and she's doing just fine. I didn't want to be that person. I didn't want to be able to give that stamp of approval to an unhealthy lifestyle. But more than anything, I was unhappy and I needed to change something. So it took me a very long time to realize that my understanding of self was tainted. And it took me a very long time to understand that my vision of myself was wrong. And it actually took my chasing a healthy lifestyle to realize that. So what I did, like I said before, was chase being healthy. And then when I found my way into being healthy, and I'm not even done, I've not even got to maybe like half of what I really want to achieve with myself. But now I know that it's possible, right? There's so many things that I want to do now. There's so many healthy routes I want to take. I'm starting to work out a lot more now, because working out wasn't even something that I was willing to do, because I was so ashamed to be in the gym, this fat girl in the gym who can't do a quarter of the things that the people in the gym are doing. So it has really opened up my mind to understand that I should pursue these things. I will pursue these things. And yeah, I'm chasing health. The byproduct of chasing that health is that I find myself losing weight. So I've decided that I'm going to document my continuing journey to health and wellness, and subsequently to weight loss. And that's what this channel is for. So welcome to my channel. I'm hoping that it's a platform where we can learn and share and grow together and just try to achieve a healthier way of living so that we can be better, build ourselves, build our self-esteem, make sure that we understand that we are in this together and that your weight is not the only determining factor of who you are. Your identity is not pegged on what you look like. Those are the kind of conversations that I want us to have. One of the main parts of this channel is going to be based in the kitchen, because food, I love to cook and I love to entertain, but that's another story for another day. But food was so instrumental and so fundamental in my weight loss that it's really become what I know. So I'm going to share some recipes with you guys, ways that you can live a little healthier, slightly less guilt because you're eating a better version of something. And let me give you an example. I love pancakes. I really, truly do. Can we make a sugar-free pancake? Absolutely. Let's learn how to do that. Can we make flour-free, sugar-free cookies? Absolutely. Let's learn to make that so that you're still having a cookie. You're still having a pancake. It's not about these heavy restrictions and about like I said, punishment and breaking yourself down for 2 weeks and just and struggle and struggle. It's not about that for me. I want us to find a place where we can seek healthy alternatives without breaking our own backs. I want us to know that we can make small, easy, continuous, consistent steps towards living a healthier life and subsequently towards weight loss. I want us to be able to make good things a habit. So that is why it's called Have Your Cake and Eat It. I want you to still have these wonderful things. I don't want to deny anybody those things, because I love those things and I still eat things that are considered decadent and excessive a little bit. It's just, you know, what can we do to make that better? Portion control. Maybe the sides are a little different from what we would have normally had. Maybe we are just eating a little less. Maybe we are having a lot more water. Maybe we are walking up the stairs. Maybe we are, you know, small things that we can do. What small things can we do? And that's what I want this platform to be, so that we can have our cake and eat it, literally, and have the best of both worlds. So that's what Have Your Cake and Eat It is about. How can we make small steps? How can we make small changes so that we live a healthier lifestyle without breaking our backs, without struggling, without punishing ourselves? That's what it's about. On the channel as well, I know for a fact there are going to be other things that come up. We're going to talk hair, we're going to talk makeup, I'm quite sure, just because it's part of a whole. It's part of the whole when we're talking about self-esteem and making ourselves feel better and look better. So I'm very excited. Honestly, I'm very excited and a little nervous, quite nervous. I'm just going to say a little because it sounds better, but I am nervous and I'm excited. And welcome to my channel.